This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're coming to you from the Dawson James Securities 4th Annual Small Cap Growth Conference 2018 in Jupiter, Florida. With me today is Thomas Equels from Hemispherx Biopharma, Inc. It's a publicly traded company, and the symbol is HEB on the NYSE. Thomas, welcome back to SNNLive.
Thank you very much for having me, Shelley. Thank you.
It's good to have you.
Pleasure to be here.
Let's start out with a brief overview of the company, and we'll go from there.
Well, our company is a research and development biopharma company specializing in immunological products, specifically in our major emphasis right now is in the field of cancer.
Now, let's go into a little history behind the company, if you would.
The company was formed many years ago, and as many of you may know, Immuno-Oncology is the new hot topic in oncology. 10 years ago, there was no such thing that was of any import in terms of treatment. Well, right now, this is where it's all happening, and we had developed a drug for a disease called ME/CFS that we've repurposed in Immuno-Oncology, and we now have 8 different clinical studies underway at major research institutions in the United States, sponsored by those institutions, showing how our drug enhances the effect of checkpoint blockade therapies.
So what is your competitive advantage?
Well, our competitive advantage is that in our prior work in ME/CFS, we developed a tremendous safety profile, approximately 100,000 doses administered IV, which shows that the drug is generally well-tolerated IV. Now, most cancer therapies are administered IV. We've also worked on developing phase 1 safety intranasally as well as interperitoneally. So that safety profile gives us an advantage because no other TLR3 agonist, which is what our drug Ampligen is, has that kind of safety profile. And also our major advantage is we are the only TLR3 agonist that has been demonstrated to selectively modulate the tumor microenvironment. We've got all kinds of peer-reviewed papers. We've got all kinds of preclinical studies, including animal studies, that show that Ampligen modifies the microenvironment of tumors, turning cold tumors into hot tumors. And hot tumors are what checkpoint blockade therapies like Keytruda and Opdivo focus on.
What is the competitive landscape like?
Well, in some respects, we're the only game in town. We've got these 8 studies underway. It's our expectation that if we're successful in those studies, which we're going to do everything possible to provide a foundation for good scientific analysis, and our hope is that if we're successful in those studies, then we have a breakthrough follow-up therapy for those checkpoint blockade therapies that won't work on cold tumors.
Where was this technology originally developed, and where are you working now?
The technology was developed at Johns Hopkins. Not for oncology. This is something we've done recently over the past 2 years. And we have our manufacturing facility at New Brunswick, New Jersey, near Rutgers, and we have our executive offices in Florida.
Describe the target market.
The target market is the patient who is trying to use these immuno-oncology products called checkpoint blockade therapies, but because their tumor microenvironment is not suitable for the checkpoint blockade drug, that's our target market. We help convert those tumors that are cold into hot tumors where the checkpoint blockade drug will work. And that's what these studies are all about. The fact that we have 8 clinical trials underway, and 2 of them are actually have patients enrolled. We've got 6 more coming right down the pike, and they're at the University of Pittsburgh, Roswell Park Cancer Institute, and the Buffett Cancer Center at the University of Nebraska. We also have an approval for an early access program from the Dutch government in pancreatic cancer in Holland, and the Dutch government is allowing us to treat pancreatic cancer patients there with Ampligen by itself. And one of the clinical studies will be at the University of Nebraska in pancreatic cancer, where the animal studies showed tremendous opportunities for increased survival.
What's your background?
My background, I have a Bachelor of Science, a Master of Science, and a Juris Doctorate. I spent many years as a lawyer running a law firm. I've had a number of businesses in different industries, and also have been a turnaround specialist appointed by courts for bringing business around and creating new opportunities for business. I've been involved in the pharma industry as a lawyer for perhaps 15, 20 years, and been CEO for the past 2 years.
Who's Chief Science Officer?
Our Chief Science Officer is also our Chief Medical Officer, David Strayer. He has 30 years experience with this drug, and this. He's a certified oncologist, professor at one of the universities in Pennsylvania, and is one of the top experts in this field. And we've taken advantage of his oncology background to move into oncology as our primary focus right now.
Thomas, you're a public company. Tell me what you can about growth drivers.
Well, our major growth driver is the series of clinical trials that are coming up. A major success in any one of those trials drives growth. We have an opportunity for success in all 8 of those trials. These trials are underway. 2 of them actually have subjects enrolled. One of them, probably the next one that comes up, has already got the FDA approved IND and the university IRB approval. So it should start soon. And they're going to follow one after the other. Now, these are in cancer. So, you have a benchmark that's clear. Survival rates in these lethal cancers, everybody knows what the percentages of survival are. So if we're able to change that, that obviously is a major growth driver, because cancer is one of the biggest pharma markets in the world right now. Probably the second biggest worldwide, in the 100 billion plus range worldwide.
Let's get your website out for more information, if you would.
Okay, our website is www.hemispherx, HEMISPHERX.net, hemispherx.net.
Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Equels, Hemispherx Biopharma, Inc. It's a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange, and the symbol is HEB. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the Dawson James Securities 4th Annual Small Cap Growth Conference 2018 right here in Jupiter, Florida. Thomas, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Shelley. I really appreciate the opportunity to appear.
No problem.
Thank you.